Hey guys, welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Thank you so much for joining. This week we have a really short intro. What I planned on actually doing for the intro this week was talking about the famed, if you're in the know, Leo Skeppy, I think is his name, something like that. He posted a pretty controversial TikTok about people that are fat and what they should expect from brands having sizes that fit them. And I planned on dissecting that video and sharing my comments, sharing the comments of other TikTokers, but I just couldn't get it together this week. It was so crazy. I like to remind everybody that listens that I am a one-woman show, so I apologize for that. But next week, I promise, that is what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about it when everybody is fully over it and the conversation has fully been flushed out. But, late to the party is better than not showing up at all. So that's going to be next week. But yeah, so for this week, as always, please do your girl a favor and check out us on YouTube, where we have full video episodes at I Feel Fat Today over on YouTube. And then please head over to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review. Those really help me. I'm definitely trying to think of some kind of incentive for my listeners to leave me a nice review, any review at all, as long as I get 5 stars. But I, just trying to grow this thing and make it as big as it deserves to be. And follow us on social media at I Feel Fat Today, and follow me, your host, at Hello, This is Kelly. So that's all I have to say for now. But without further ado, please give it up for my guest, Scott Hall.
What it up?
All right, we're here. What's up, Scott? How you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
How was your day? Did you have a good day?
I had a good day.
Yeah.
I had a good day, I guess.
You had to think about it.
I don't know. I spend all day worrying about what I should and shouldn't be doing.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I got some work done. I went for a walk. I left my house for longer than I normally do. So I guess it was a good day.
I do think that's maybe why, aside from the paycheck, I do appreciate having a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because I can't think about what I should or shouldn't be doing because I'm sitting at work doing that job. But I spend all my free time wondering what I should and shouldn't be doing. It plagues me.
I know. Well, what else? I don't know. I feel like it's a curse to be that self-aware. You just think that I don't know. I think it's the comedy brain.
I think so. I think it's the brain of we always need to be doing something. Even if I hate that sometimes I feel like a hang is productive, even if I'm just going to hang out with my friends.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It's in this vein. I agree with that because it feels disingenuous then.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I know. But because you date a comic and I dated a comic. This is the first time I've dated a comic. We've been together for a year. And I've had to vocalize, and it's me too. I'm addicted to work.
Yeah.
But we're trying to make a real effort to not make that our whole life. Cuz you need some reprieve.
I feel like we're pretty good about not having comedy be the one thing that we do together.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, because we're both very much alone together kind of people. He's really into video games and I'm really into watching reality TV or just
watching him play video games. No,
well, kind of. So
yeah.
We feel like we're spending quality time together if I'm literally sitting on this part of the couch with my computer watching whatever I'm watching and then he's playing video games. So it's we're doing the same thing, but we're not doing something that the other person hates.
Yeah.
Together. Cause I'm bad with I can't sit through a Marvel movie. I know that's what he wants and likes, but I can't do it. You have to either do that alone or find a friend to do that with you. Cause my
girlfriend watches bad Christmas movies.
Yeah, those are fun.
No.
You can't.
That's my
do it.
Marvel movie. No, I can't. I can't pretend like Mario Lopez isn't Mario Lopez.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it's always
fun.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It's always Christmas for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it
I
is
get
Christmas.
it. We don't live together yet, which I think it might solve some of the problems.
Yeah.
I hate to say that because that sounds wrong.
To
do that, but
I kind of wish that Joe and I had more of a be in a relationship before moving in together phase because we really didn't. We started.
How long was it?
It was in a matter of like a few weeks.
Damn, dude.
Because
that's New York though too, and
it's
comedy.
New York, and we were in a place where like I was living here, I was living alone, and I loved it. But then his apartment flooded, so
Yeah.
I was like, just stay with me, because they were gonna like put him up in a hotel, and I was like, oh, just stay here. Why are you going to a hotel? You know, and then he was about to sign a 12-month lease at a different apartment, and I was like, let's just ride it out through the end of the year, because this was like November. Yeah, like we started dating in August, and he moved in November.
Wow.
That's crazy, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I think that's a psycho thing to do. I think it's psycho. Obviously, it's working out pretty well for us. Petra, don't be a bitch. It's working out pretty well, but like I think it might have been maybe it would feel like we have to go out of our way to like do things together if we didn't live in the same space.
That's what I think it is, because we're both very, very busy.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't have the time. And a lot of times she'll be like, oh, come, I live in fucking Bushwick, and she's here. She's not here, but she's in Astoria.
Yeah, that's rough.
And
that's
it's long distance.
Rough.
In New York, like I dated someone, and I don't know if this is boring, but I dated someone on the Upper West Side, and it was like an hour and a half to get there from where I live. And it was like, this is like dating 2 hours
They may
away.
as well be in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Anywhere else, like if I lived in Virginia or like D.C., it's like 2 hours away. It'd be crazy to date someone that far away.
I know.
But you can just hop on a train here, so I guess it's not that
I
bad.
know. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we just hang out when we do get to see each other, and then we're just like downloading our anxieties, because it's like, it was what I did today. It was just like, should I be doing this? Can I be doing this? It's like, oh, you can just breathe. Like, it's
I know.
fine. You don't need to.
Yeah, I feel like, especially when you're dating a comic, it's like you're going back and forth and trying to make each other feel better, because one of us is sitting here being like, well, I should do something, and it's like, oh, well, you're tired, relax.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then it's like inevitably it'll be the other way around.
Yep.
Like I'll be having a bad week or something, and I'm like,
yep,
I need to lay on her. You know, I'm like being a big baby.
Yeah. Where are you from?
DC originally.
Oh, you are. Oh my God,
like
you were
right
getting
outside
attacked
DC.
by the dogs.
No,
I have
love
a lint
this.
roller for you.
No, I'm so unbelievably happy. I couldn't
Good.
be more happy.
I'm glad.
How big is this?
So just outside DC.
Yeah.
My brother lives in DC.
Does he like it?
He loves it.
Ugh.
It's
Is
like
he smart? Did you do well in school?
Yeah, he's smart. He did well in school, and they have like a really big gay scene, and he's gay, so
they do have a really big.
They have a really
scene.
big gay scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fun. It's great. Well, that's cool. So were you like in the suburbs of?
Yeah, like right outside Falls Church is the area it's called, but it's right outside like Tyson's.
Were your parents? Did they work in politics?
No.
No.
My parents ended up there. Man, they ended up there. They're just very working class. My mom was like a secretary at a law firm for a really long time. She does really well because she's been with that long for a long time, and you know, she does now. But when we were growing up, it was just that. And then my dad did he did auto body stuff, and then it went into the insurance part of like car stuff. And so very working class. But they were there because I believe it was my mother's dad's house.
Oh, okay.
And he got it left to them.
Familial.
Yeah.
Got it.
So it wasn't a connection to DC. I only asked a smart thing because it's like DC is a bunch of class presidents. I hated it.
Oh yeah. No, I've
area.
never had a good time when I've gone to visit. Like it is everybody like I remember because I had a friend that was living there, and I went to visit her, and I remember being like these conversations that I'm hearing around me are so
it's a whole work business.
I can't relate.
How much money do you make? Yeah.
And I guess we have the comedy equivalent. You know, where it's like all we are going to sit around and talk about is comedy when we're with other comics.
I get.
But it feels more fun when we do it.
Yeah, well, it is. It literally is.
It literally is more fun, yeah.
Because we're talking shit about those people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's a thing of like I always used to just say that, like when you go there, someone asks like, they ask like what you do for a living immediately.
Oh, immediately.
It's like the first question they want to know with your hierarchy. Whereas like here, it's not. Nobody really gives a shit.
It's like a secondary thing that people are thinking about. Yeah. Totally.
I never liked TC.
Yeah. So when did you get out?
I got out. I did get out. I got out in 2020, 2021.
Oh, okay.
Like right after a couple years after I started comedy, I had a podcast, started going okay, and then I was like, I'm gonna get up here while it's cheap.
Yeah, totally.
It was either here or Austin, and I've done stuff in Austin, and I don't like it.
I'm so glad
so
you
I'm
chose
glad
here. I love when New York wins.
New York's also the mecca. It's just like how do you not, especially for comedy, but also it's just like the mecca of like the country or even the world. Some people would say. Yeah. So how do you not move here?
Totally.
But
to at least try it once.
Yeah, But I never felt like myself until I moved here.
Right.
Because you're just...
I totally feel that.
Yeah. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Where were you before you moved to New York?
I lived in New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah, close. But even though I'm close, I think I kind of like the comfort of being able to go home, but I never do. I never go home, you know. I like actively try to find excuses to not go home.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like my family's great. It's just like, you know, I'll talk to you on the phone.
Yeah, no, I have the
or
same.
you come here, you know, because this is way better. But it's like it's two completely different value systems. Like my dad's like, there's nowhere to park, you know, everything's expensive, and I go home to New Jersey, and I'm like, this is boring.
How often do you see your family?
Probably, I would say, let's call it once a quarter.
Once a quarter is a good way to...
you know?
A quarter, so a few times a year.
A few times a year. Yeah, I'm trying to...
Interesting.
As I think back on this past year, I can't say that I've saw my parents, but...
Do you feel bad? Do you feel like it's less or more? Sometimes I see my parents like once or twice a year.
Yeah,
you
feel like it should be more.
I would go big gaps too. I would go years without seeing them and see them like twice.
I don't know if because like there's always going to be a holiday that I have to go to.
We didn't. Yeah, that was like a thing. We didn't really.
Yeah.
And the pandemic gave me a bunch of excuses.
Oh yeah, the pandemic was.
It was amazing.
Bliss. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And but I have guilt. I'll see like a commercial and they'll be like, well. Like it'll get me. I'll be like, fuck, I should give a shit.
Or if I'm listening to a podcast, like I was listening to this one podcast recently, and he was talking about like, oh, well, if you look at your life and like, you know, you can kind of calculate the amount of dinners you might have with your parents. And then I realized, I'm like left with like 20 something dinners. And that I was like, oh, I don't like listening to that. I don't like hearing that. That really like puts things into a weird perspective for me, because in my head, it's like my mom is always going to be around in my head.
I know.
You know?
I know. Or it's just like a video of a guy filling like a jar with ping pong balls and then sand, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
You're like, stop doing that.
I don't need these visual representations.
Yeah, my jar's all sand.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, I know. I think that, but that we had a strained relationship growing up, and some of that stuff, you know, that you sent me, I was thinking about that too. Do
you have siblings?
I have a little brother and a little sister, but I'm adopted.
Oh, you are.
So there was like resentment from my mother, I believe, just as a human, and we've pretty much reconciled. Like we're fine. We have no beef. We actually get along really well. I tell my mom I love her all the time, but at the time we didn't when I was growing up, and I think it's because her brother, her twin brother, is my biological father. Okay. He went to jail. She got handed me.
Oh.
And then just like in her mid-20s, and they just had to take care of me.
Yeah. Wow, so it was like this undue thing that she was not expecting.
It's only but you don't think about that when you're like a kid. You don't think about your parents like experiences as a human.
Not at all. Never once.
Yeah, ever.
If anything, I heard my parents' experience and I made it about me.
Yeah.
You know, 100%.
You can't know. You can't understand
exactly.
It
all of that comes with age. Like I talk about this a lot with girls that come on the podcast, where we're like, were you like really like mean to your mom, and like now that you're older you see how annoying your dad is, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mom, I was so mean to you. Like
that's
you
so funny.
get
I
that
have the
with
same
age.
thing with my mom.
Yeah.
My mom's like objectively the crazy one though.
I would say the same for my parents as well.
We have that. My dad's very grounded. He like never did anything that was like crazy or weird really.
Okay.
My mom was always just the one flipping out.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
No, my parents took turns with like who was gonna fly off the handles, but New Jersey people just
of course.
It's East Coasters, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are adopted, but you are blood related to at least your mom.
Yes.
Right. And where you don't know anything about your biological parents aside from the fact that your mom's twin.
Yeah.
Wait, are they identical twins? No, they can't because they're different genders.
I'm a twin. No, they're not. I don't think they're identical.
If they're different genders, they can't be identical.
Really?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how it
because
works.
an identical twin is literally a clone. It's like you either... Twins are, I mean, you're a twin. You're a twin?
Yeah, but they don't give you the rundown.
Oh.
No one ever gave me like a pamphlet or anything.
So I believe this is not like, Discovery Channel or Nat Geo, so fact check this. But I believe twins could either be identical, where it's like literally the egg just decides, we're going to make another one of me. And like that's how you get identical.
Okay.
So you have the same genetic DNA makeup.
Yeah.
Same. And then fraternal is when the egg splits, and it's like two different things
Yeah.
entirely.
So I guess they're fraternal.
Yeah, so they're fraternal. So because like identical would mean that you are related, like you're if it was identical twins,
She's pretty much my mom.
she's like, if you did a DNA test, it would be like could be mom.
We did a DNA test, I'd be 100% that bitch.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, so and you said your parents were in their 20s when this happened.
Yeah, I think like mid 20s to late. No, probably mid to late 20s. I think mid. And I don't really know anything about it. I remember going back and forth between them when I was younger. And so my dad, I guess they fully adopted me between like, I don't want to say, but like somewhere around 5, maybe before that.
Okay.
Probably before that, but no later than that.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad went to jail, so I don't really have any memory of him. He's
been
in jail
for?
a bunch of stuff. Third strike.
Oh.
The first time I saw him, he was on the news.
Oh,
I was going to basic training, and my mom came and got me. Like, I was, like, packing or whatever, and my mom came and got me and was like, your dad's on the news. And I went out there, and it was her brother, and it was just, like, his face.
Oh.
And so that's the first time I'd ever, like, thought about him. My mother went to jail. The reason they gave me up is because they were both just fucking around.
Yeah.
And so my mother went to jail, but I guess she reached out to me and my brother on Facebook when we were like 16 and was like, hey, like you have stepbrothers and stepsisters and like I have a twin brother and we were adopted by separate families.
I was going to say.
A crazy situation. We are I know this is all beside the point.
No, this is the exposition we need.
Okay. Well, we both got adopted by different people. I got adopted by family, obviously. He got adopted, I think, by family friends of our biological parents. And I think it was for money. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
He was the looker, so they could get some money.
No. Maybe we might be fighting for even now.
Yeah.
But for most of the time, I was the looker.
Your parents are like, we want the cute one.
Yeah. But he stayed in Syracuse where we were originally born.
Okay.
And then I came down here and my mom reached out to both of us on Facebook. We were 16 and both of us were having like a shitty time with our parents.
Right.
Like he didn't get along with his mother. I didn't get along with mine. I was having a really hard time. So was he. Like his parents ended up getting divorced. Mine figured it out. I think the kids just didn't help. And then maybe some of the pressure was going after. But we both decided that it was just not worth like bringing into our lives. So we never talked to her.
Wow. Good for you guys.
Yeah. I guess it was a mature decision.
I mean, you can always backtrack. You can always decide that you want to have a conversation. If you're good, then you're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's why I ask about your parents and how many times you see them. Because it's like, because of the way I was raised and because I wasn't close and I'd isolate myself a lot. Like, they would go on family vacations and I wouldn't go.
Really?
Yeah, I went on
They gave you the option to not go?
Once I got old enough to not go, I wouldn't go.
Yeah, like, so like 16.
They would always just end up in a fight, maybe even earlier than that.
Right.
It would just end up with my mom and I being, like, screaming at each other. Her being like, you're ruining my vacation. And me being like, I don't. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to. Because we had this thing where I don't know. I talked to someone else about this, but it's like, when you're not getting along with your parents. I was very aware from a young age that like I wasn't getting along with them, and then the next day it was like, oh, what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, totally.
What do you want for your birthday?
Oh,
and I was like, you don't like, what do we do? Why are we playing this game?
I remember having this thought. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember having this thought like, oh, this is how we do this around here.
Yeah.
Where it's like not even the next day.
Yeah.
Like my parents especially will get into like a crazy fight, like an insane fight. And then it's like my mom will be like, all right, dinner's on the table. And we all sit at the dinner table and eat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, is anybody else's nervous system still recovering from when that plate of food was thrown against the wall? Like, like real craziness. And then it's like, but like, even when I go and I visit my parents now, it's still how they communicate. But like, I can't imagine them not being with each other.
Yeah. Because they're built, that's what they're comfortable with. They need
each other, yeah.
Exactly. Well, they've accepted each other's crazy.
Right.
My dad used to talk about leaving. I hate to say that. I think my dad and my mom would talk about leaving. I'm a little kid. They're just downloading their shit onto me when they have a time, like a minute alone, because no one else, like, they don't need friends because they're taking care of me.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm just like,
picture.
Loading laundry up while she's fucking like telling me about like 40-year-old problems. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. But But I think that's what maybe makes like people comics. I talked to this about a few different people because then you start to question reality.
Oh yeah.
You're like, everyone else's mom's supposed to be like this. Like moms are
Mhm.
supposed to be like this. Families are supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
Vacations are supposed to be like this. Holidays are supposed to. And we all had none of that.
Right.
And so your whole life, you're like, someone tells you something, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about
exactly.
that.
You're always questioning.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I'm thankful for it now, but at the time it was very like.
Yeah.
Just,
So
yeah.
when with you having a twin brother, did you both had to have known your whole lives that each other existed,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that were your guardians weren't the people that like I feel like with people that are adopted, it's like, oh, I found out at 8 years old that I was adopted.
Yeah.
Is that like how it worked out for you, or you said you remember going back and forth to your parents, so like you knew it was like
I think I knew I was adopted. I think they, because of the way that I got adopted, I think I was always like aware of that situation.
Yeah.
But the twin brother thing was like, I've only seen him in person like maybe 4 times. He actually just reached out the other day, so it's weird we're talking about this because we don't talk. I mean, we like each other's stuff on Facebook occasionally. He'll like something I put up, or like if he has something with the girl he's with, I like it. They've been together for a long time. I'm sure they get married. But
would you go to his wedding if you got
yeah,
married?
of course.
Oh, okay.
He texts me, like we literally text me the other day being like, hey, how you doing?
Okay.
He's my twin. Like if I call him, we'll be cool.
Yeah.
But we're not close. Like this
Right.
is longer than I've talked to him in years.
Right.
Already.
Right.
And but we would go on family vacations. So when like I was a little kid, we would go up to like Cape Cod. We went to one year. A few years later, we went to Cape Cod. Was the first time I met him. It was like, oh, family friends. Like here's a little. They have a son. We have a son. No, okay. The next time we went to Hersey Park, which was a few years later. I think we were probably like 12, maybe.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, somewhere around there. Give or take a few years. And we went to Hersey Park for the weekend. And on the way back, my mom told me, she was like, oh, that's your twin brother.
Were
And I
you
was
just
"What the
like,
fuck?"
were you floored?
I don't. This is going to sound like really melodramatic, but I don't think I got to express a lot of those emotions.
No, that's not
Because-
dramatic.
Well, I didn't have anyone to express them to. My
Right.
mother, like, wouldn't. My mom kind of told me things. They weren't the type of people I could be like, oh my God. Like, I had no one to be excited to,
Right.
Yeah. As a kid, which is, I think, manifested all this work, all of this shit.
Yeah.
But so I don't think I had that emotion. I remember calling him and talking to him about it, and I remember his mom being pissed.
Really?
She didn't want.
She
I don't
didn't
think
want it to be found out.
She couldn't have kids. I don't think.
Oh, okay. So
So
this
she
was
was
like
mad.
yeah.
She was very Jewish, very like from Israel, very like just that I mean like culturally, like very stern, fucking a very family,
traditional.
very super, yeah. And she was not happy. Then a few years later we went to Pennsylvania, and then a few years later I went to Syracuse and stayed with him for like a few weeks. And then after that we never really saw each other again.
Got it. So like that first initial time of you guys hanging out, going on vacation, you don't know that that's your brother. Were you like, hey, my birthday's also April 20th, like, I don't know.
I don't know,
your birthday.
maybe.
Because I feel like girls would have gotten to the bottom of that quick.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I feel like if it was, if girls, I feel like would be like,
No.
they would have put the pieces together, because it's just like, that's just like an insane thing. And I'm guessing you didn't look alike.
No, I mean he was always fatter than me growing up. He was always chubbier. He had a heart problem, which I don't know. He had a heart problem growing up when he was younger. Worse, we both have asthma. He had it really bad, so they gave him steroids as a kid. So he was always like a little bigger. And his mother was just like always feeding him.
Yeah.
Super. She was just an immigrant, like
Right.
couldn't help it. So he was always a little fatter. But our first vacation, I know why, because they gave us a Nintendo. And that's all we wanted to do. We were on the beach and like we didn't give a shit about anything except for going back and playing video games.
Totally.
So I remember that whole vacation was just that. And I remember the place that we stayed at smelled like sausage. She made sausage from scratch and it was disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, ruined. I remember that smell to this day.
Could you eat sausage now?
Yeah, but it's like a homemade sausage has this weird smell to it, and I can remember the smell, and I just remember hating it. I was infuriated. That memory is always connected to that smell because I can't stand it.
Are you Jewish?
No.
No. Oh, and the Jewish family adopted the baby. Okay.
He was Polish. He's not Jewish, and they got divorced. So I don't know what the fuck they had going on. They hated each other.
Yeah.
They did not like each other. They didn't like each other then.
That's rough.
He was very funny about it.
Yeah.
I guess they loved each other at one point, but like he would bring her food, she would bring him food cuz she was very traditional, she didn't care that they bickered.
Yeah.
And he would like do stuff like, "Oh, thank you," and act like he would mixing up his salad, but he'd like do it with his middle finger, like kind of at us. And he was like a little older for a dad, so it was just very funny.
Yeah.
Looking back, it was probably horrible for her.
Right.
But it was very funny as a kid to see your dad kind of like fucking around behind his wife's back, and because he's not my parents, I don't care.
Yeah, of course.
He found it less entertaining, I think, my brother.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now, in terms of like your household though, how old were you once your parents started having biological children?
Ooh. 4 or 5.
4 or 5, okay. And then, so did you feel
4 or 5?
Did you feel like you were, and are they twins or are they?
No, I'm 4 years older than my brother. My brother's 4 years older than my sister.
Oh, okay.
That's how I know, yeah.
Did you feel like those siblings had like a tighter bond than you?
Yeah. Because my mother had miscarriages.
Oh, that's so hard.
So my brother was like her miracle
rainbow
child.
miracle baby. Mm-hmm.
And also he saw me. I was a massive fuck up drug addict, kicked out of the house, went to jail for a year.
Wow.
I've done all kinds of terrible stuff, tried to kill myself, OD'd. All good now, but I have other problems. Food.
Right.
but
totally.
But he behaved, so it really exacerbated a lot of it, like in my teenage
the good
years.
Son.
Because he did what and I think it was partly out of fear, partly out of just coddling.
Yeah.
He had genuine support from my parents. I think he got his fair share of it. I don't want to take anything away from him.
Totally. And it could have. I mean, I don't want to speak for your brother, but like, him being extra good could have been his response to you being extra bad.
That's what I mean. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, of course.
Like that was his way of dealing with it. Because he has control over that, and he doesn't have control over fuck all what you're doing.
No, and I'm sure he resented me for a long time too. Yeah.
So how's the family now? You said you're good with mom and dad. Are we good with brother, sister? Everybody is in a pretty good place.
I'm kind of the peacekeeper. I'm kind of the one that says I love you, and like,
oh, nice.
It's come full circle to me being the one who was in chaos to me, like, because thank God I did all that.
Yeah, because now you're therapized.
Well, that's how all this stuff works.
Yeah.
It's just really need to go through. I'm so thankful for the life I've lived because it was terrible. And now
sounds like you've lived many lives.
I have, and I'm very lucky.
Yeah,
I'm very lucky for their perspective. But I am the one who's like in the group text being like, I love you.
Yeah,
and like,
that's so nice.
I don't really check on them as much as I should, but probably my sister is back there now. She just moved back for a little bit because she's in between places. And they don't get along. She's more like me.
Right.
And my brother just got a house built. And like signed his
he's
thing.
killing
So
it. Yeah. It is hard being the only girl. I have 2 siblings. Both of them are brothers.
And she was the youngest. So my mom was just up her fucking ass.
Up her ass, yeah. Like totally.
Just about school. And then obviously she rebels.
Yeah.
She gets any kind of freedom for college. And it was just like, I'm not going to do any of this sports shit. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to be a country girl. She lived in Kansas for a while with a guy. And it was just like the exact opposite of DC.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And so we're all good. I'm kind of I don't know. I'm more lovey-dovey than all that. My brother's kind of a robot. He's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's just not very like emotionally.
Yeah.
He just doesn't open up like that. I've kind of forced both my parents to open up just because I'll talk at them like this.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And I can see them appreciate it because they probably don't talk to each other like that. My dad has like a deep yearning because he's like one of these guys who was like he didn't have anything to do with any of this kid stuff. He loved my mom.
Yeah.
So he has this whole life. He was touring in a band before I came into his life, and like the band was going on tour, and it fell apart. He says, but there's got to be some deep like what if.
Right.
And I say this on every podcast I get a chance, but my dad's my hero.
Yeah.
He's just like a good guy, but he's they're all cool. My dad seems to be finding his freedom as an old man a little bit, and like
it
doing
is
cool
really
stuff.
It is cool seeing your parents get into stuff like actually have hobbies.
Yeah.
When they get older, because us kids are out of the house. Like my little brother still lives at home, but like he's independent, you know.
Yeah.
He just lives under their roof and like helps them out with stuff. And like my parents camp. They like have a camper.
Is that
and they
weird
go.
for you?
No, I think it's awesome. I'm like,
Yeah.
go do it. Because I remember, and I probably say this too much on the podcast, but I remember being like preteen, teenager, thinking like, just get a fucking divorce already. Just
Yep.
please do us all a favor.
Yep.
If you're trying to stay together for the kids, you're misinformed. But now as I see the relationship when I'm older and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe the kids were the ones that were stressing you out.
Yes,
you had
exactly.
Catholic school to pay for and like, you know,
Exactly.
mom's working 3 jobs. And so
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's nice now that like, oh, my mom only has to have one job where she makes decent money and like my dad can retire and, you know, they can just do their own thing, you know?
I had the exact same thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised. If you would have told me that they'd still like be together, my dad be doing photography, whatever,
Yeah.
I'd be like, wow. You know, I just wouldn't have believed you.
Totally. Okay, so food. What was it? Where do I begin? Were you? I feel like maybe you mentioned one time that you were a chubby kid, or no?
Yeah, I have a whole bit about it. I have a whole story about it.
Okay.
Well, food was, man, food's been a love of mine for
Yeah.
a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Food was my only friend. I had a girlfriend made fun of me one time.
Really?
I know this is kind of like off track as far as the story goes, but it was my last girlfriend before I moved to New York. I remember reaching for a bag of chips and eating them. My cat was like fucking around with him. And she made a joke like talking to my cat being like, oh yeah, those are his friends. And I laughed, but I don't know
like, it
why I
hurt.
remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
It didn't really hurt. It was just so funny. It was just so like, I appreciated how honest it was.
Yeah, she read you for filth.
Oh man. But food was just always the thing that I had as a comfort.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It was just dopamine. It was I grew up eating away from the dinner table, trying to avoid my family. So a lot of it was like taking stuff into my room and like hiding it and eating
Squirreling
in my
it.
room. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Is that like the term?
No, I call it squirreling it away.
I mean, that's probably
Yeah.
literally that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Do you know Tostino's, those microwave pizzas?
I
I've
know
never
all
told
about
anybody
it.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would microwave like 2 of them,
Uh-huh.
and I would take one and like put it in my room and like under a pillow,
Yeah.
and then I would eat one, and then I would just have it back there so I wouldn't have to leave my room the rest of the night.
And did you know that was a weird behavior, or are you just like not even thinking about
I would
it
eat
as
pieces
weird?
of cheese. I was very aware.
You were very aware.
Well, my dad and my mom were like, "What the fuck?" Because there was always like cups and dishes and
Yeah.
plates in my room. And the cheese thing, I would get in trouble because I would take slices of cheese, the individually wrapped ones,
Yeah.
take like 4 or 5 of them into my bed, and like I would
You're
eat
just
them, but there'd be
surrounded by cheese
wrappers.
wrappers.
Yeah, there'd just be wrappers falling off. It was bad. I've always been like a really fat, like really like bad with food. I've
Yeah.
always been bad.
I would
with
get
food.
territorial over my Halloween candy,
Oh really?
like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you?
because I felt like I earned it, like it's mine.
How were your parents though? My parents gave me a lot of shit.
So, so my weird food issues don't come so much from my parents. A little bit, they can take some credit,
Yeah.
but a lot of it came from my grandmother.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because my grandparents were like, still are very involved in my life. And every weekend, my brothers and I would go to my grandparents. And it was like a second set of parents.
Yeah.
And
You
my
Italian?
no,
But
Irish
that
and
type of-
Polish, but
that
it was and like
Communal.
yeah,
thing?
because like so when my parents before they had kids, oh, it's okay, you don't have to.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Probably wet and weird. My parents before they had kids were considering moving to Pennsylvania because like my dad likes to collect tractors and trucks and they'd have land like
Yeah.
way like you can get so much more in Pennsylvania than you can in New Jersey. And then my grandparents were like, you're going to have kids, like you can't take the grandkids away from us. And so they didn't. They stayed in New Jersey for my grandparents, and like that was before we even existed. They
wow.
So it's like from before we even existed, my grandparents were going to have a major be in my life, like
Yeah, they were
And-
planning on being involved.
exactly, which
Yeah.
is a blessing. Like that is a wonderful, beautiful thing, and I really appreciate it. especially because like as I've described, things had been chaotic
Yeah.
at my parents, and so like going to my grandparents, it felt like, oh, what a great respite. And my older brother and I joke about how like now we're in therapy and we're like, can you believe the craziness that we thought was a respite?
Yeah,
You know, because it's like just a different kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so anyways, my grandmother was always, I've only ever known her as like a very, very thin woman, but when before she was 18, she was like almost like over 300 pounds. Like,
Oh, wow.
she weighed a lot. And
Before she was 18?
yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
And it was when she was a senior in high school, she lost the weight, and she only had to lose it once. She
Wow.
kept it off for the entirety of her life. P.S. Now I kind of look at it and I'm like, I feel bad, you know, that she's had to struggle with like always making sure she maintains this physique. And so
That's big to be, especially at that time.
oh yeah, this was 19. My grandfather was born in 32.
Interesting.
She was born in the 40s. So this was like the 50s.
Did you ever talk to her about that?
So my whole, the way that we would like express love to each other would be talking about dieting. And her biggest fear was me ever being fat. Like,
Oh, wow.
you know, it was, I remember in middle school, I came down with mono and I lost a bunch of weight, and it was like like a celebration, you know,
Yeah.
like I had lost a bunch of weight, but it was because I was like very sick.
Wow.
You know, but
a
that was
celebration.
it was a good thing. It was wonderful, and I took it as a good thing. I was like, I know, I look great, you know, and like
That's really unhealthy.
my mom and my grandma, like we would go to Weight Watchers meetings together. Like, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, yeah, I have a joke about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like.
I recently met someone else that happened to too.
So many people.
We have Weight Watchers meetings at Grove
No, you don't.
on Thursdays and Saturdays.
No,
they
you
use,
don't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is
It's a
fucking
crazy environment.
amazing. It is. It's food AA.
That's so funny. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I tell people that and they're like, they get mad.
It's food AA. It literally, that's what it is. And like, that's my joke, where I'm like, I've been to both Weight Watchers and Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and in both of those rooms, someone was there because they ruined their sister's wedding.
That's
like
hilarious.
That's like, because I say like food is an addiction, and people in the crowd are sometimes like, you know, because people don't believe food is an addiction.
It is. It's bad.
But coming from an addict himself.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a massive addict.
Yeah.
And I've switched a lot of that to food. When I had a sponsor, when I finally quit booze and like rained down the drug stuff, is kind of like
Yeah.
maybe once a year.
Okay.
Maybe, you know, I'm less frequent than that now, but
What was like your like what
Coke.
kind of drugs?
Cocaine. I
Cocaine.
was a massive cocaine.
Massive.
Really anything I can get my hands on, but
Yeah.
I did restaurant stuff before.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah, so it was
Forget
like
it. Uh-huh.
yeah, the restaurant stuff was
That's
like
where the party is, baby.
yeah, and then I started managing, and it was, and then I got involved in DC and like the club type scene. It was just like people are just giving it. It was bad.
Yeah.
What the fuck were we talking?
Sorry.
About? Food is an addiction. Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I had a sponsor before. The many times I tried to get one of the sponsors I had before I finally got sober would tell me that would you rather be fat or like sober? That's what he said. Like if you don't. He'd literally tell me, go get like a big cheeseburger, go get a milkshake.
Oh yeah, do
like,
what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
To
so you
stay
don't do whatever.
sober, especially in that first year.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
And he was right. I mean, he was right. It definitely transferred to food a little bit. But I've always had, I think even before that, I had an unhealthy relationship with food. But it's always been coping, dopamine, like comfort situation.
I cannot relate to people that say, "Oh, I'm so nervous, I couldn't eat." Like, I open a deeper recess of my stomach when I'm nervous.
Yeah. Yeah. I ate a whole pizza yesterday.
Just feeling feelings or trying to not feel feelings.
I mean, maybe. I wasn't even, the problem is I'm not even aware of it.
Yeah.
That's just like my eating pattern is that.
Right.
Like I was editing all day. So I was literally locked in my room with the window shut and like a candle lit, staring at a computer screen all day. And I'm like, oh, you know, it'd be good if I get a 2 liter of diet soda and a whole pizza, and I just leave it on my bed and I eat it while I edit. And that's like just what I did all day. And I eat the pizza so fast.
Yeah. Where you
wasn't
feel
even-
like disgusting.
I didn't really feel disgusting because I had nothing to do that day. So I
Right.
kind of like wrote it off.
Right.
I go through like these swings of like I'll eat like really like crap, and then the next day I'll punish myself by not eating anything. It's really not good.
Yeah. It's like the binge without the purge, but the purge is kind of like restricting.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was bulimic in high school. I
Oh,
would
you
throw
were
up
bulimic.
twice. In high school, I did it kind of like I would really binge eat and then purge, so it kind of wasn't doing a whole lot. And then I mean, I was still kind of fat.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it. I was just still overweight.
You didn't do sports?
I did football, but it was mostly I was just like the fat kid in football. You can get away with it. Nobody really says anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my 20s, my very early 20s, I was bulimic, where I would wake up in the morning and I would have like an egg on a piece of toast, and maybe I'd throw that up, and then I would go run like 5 miles, and then I would go to work and I would have chicken lemon soup, and that's what I would eat at work, and that's it. And I would do that every day.
It. Wow. So you were like a bulimic
It was
anorexic.
like rail thin. Yeah. Yeah. I never got I was very concerned with how I looked, so I wouldn't get too thin, but I've always had a really, really unhealthy relationship with food and dieting.
So, you didn't go to any like eating disorder recovery or anything like that?
No, I've never addressed it. Because when I was in jail, I was in very, very good shape. I got because I've been in really good shape a couple times, but I get obsessed.
Right.
There's no it would get to the point where when I was in a restaurant, I got really big, really defined. I was huge, but I would overeat and close the office door and do 100 push-ups because I felt like I overate.
Yeah.
It was very unhealthy.
Try to balance it out.
I would get into fights with my girlfriend that I was seeing at the time, being like, "You didn't let me sleep enough. I'm not going to recover."
Oh God, yeah. Like
it
you
was,
were really obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Would you keep food journals?
No. Oh yeah. Well, I mean mentally. Or I had the MyFitness, the calorie tracker,
Totally.
But not write down what I had that day. I should.
You're fine. You don't need to write down what
I
you
know.
eat.
Thank you for telling me that.
I have just so many half written in food journals all over the place from my youth. Okay. So why did you go to jail?
Oh. DUI.
DUI.
I got a DUI, and I had 17 failure to appears. I had a bunch of failure to appear. So I was driving on a suspended license. I got a suspended license. I can't remember how it originally did. And then it might have been for driving drunk.
Wow. You were really fucking around.
I was bad. That happened, and then I got a bunch of them, and I just wouldn't go to court because I was in the Army. I was a reservist, but I would show my military ID. They'd be like, just show up to court. I would never go to court.
Yeah.
That happened a bunch of times. And then when I got the DUI, I got property damage, totaled the car.
Oh, God. Thank God so you and everyone else involved was okay.
Yeah, it was in a country road in Virginia, and the bumfuck. And I hit a cattle fence and so it was nowhere near anybody, thank God. But all that stuff combined, when I went to court, they were like, if you want a felony, you can do a couple months and get out 6 months, 3, whatever. But if you want a misdemeanor, you have to do a year. So I was like, okay.
You don't want to be a felon?
No.
Yeah.
Not a felon.
Yeah.
So
you can still vote.
I voted.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would have to vote if I were you.
I write in Dick Cheney every year. Yeah.
Yeah. If you when you get brushed with the idea of being a felon, it's I'm going to do everything that I can do now that I'm not one. So what was prison like?
I went to jail, and there's a difference.
I know there is a difference, right?
I know.
I talked to Gio. I had Gio Perez on. He told me all about it. So he went to jail. He avoided prison, but he actually would have preferred prison because he could have gotten out sooner.
But jail's also worse.
Really?
It's not as violent, but you're stuck in a cell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're stuck in a cell for a year. So there's no I got to go outside 3 hours a week for a year.
That sounds...
And they were 3 different days, an hour a different day. So an hour Friday, an hour Monday. And then when I did get to go outside, it was on the roof, but they had a brick wall, and it was just in a basketball court, but they was surrounded by a brick wall that was probably 20 feet high with a fence over it.
Yeah.
So you weren't seeing anything but the sky.
Yeah.
And so that was for a year.
Was this in Virginia?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was in Southern, in a shithole place too, a very meth head. Everyone that came in was meth and stuff. So it wasn't a well-funded place.
Right.
I got some kind of cirrhosis on my finger during it. On my hand, I started getting a flesh they would just get like watery and thin skinned and like start to bleed. And I'd
Yeah,
like
yeah,
grab
yeah.
everything. That lasted for like months because they didn't give a
They
shit.
couldn't do anything.
No,
yeah.
I'd tell the warden. He'd be like, "Would you put it in the wrong hole?" That's what literally what he said to me, and and then eventually medical came and gave me an ointment. But like it
Right.
was not a good. It wasn't. It was way less violent.
Yeah.
But it sucked. There wasn't a lot to do. Like
And the
there-
food sucks.
it's like high school food.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. It's like
Yeah.
middle school.
Gio told a story about how in the kitchen meat came in and it said on the packaging alligator food. It was like
Really?
it was chicken that was specific to be given to alligators,
Shut the
and
fuck
they were
up.
feeding the inmates
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a bunch of companies that like fund these ones because they have
Mhm.
commissary too, where you can buy
Right.
like candy and stuff, and those people are ripping you off because it's like ramen noodles in jail are like $1 a piece when they're 10 cents out here.
Right,
It's like that's the markup on
Yeah.
on jail stuff. It's crazy.
Would people on the outside put stuff in your
Yeah.
commissary?
That's when me and my mom and my dad kind of patched things up a lot. Not necessarily like we had those conversations during that point, but it gave me so much perspective, and it was the longest. When you're communicating like that, you have time to like sit with your emotions
Yeah.
between the correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like now, the way we communicate is so impulsive.
So impulsive, where you
Yeah.
end up having to apologize at times for reacting too wildly and quickly.
If I would apologize for everything I felt
I
like
know.
apologizing for, I would never stop texting people.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to apologize right now to you for I'm sure as soon as I walk out of here. But it's like, so it was a time to, like when you're writing someone a letter and you have to wait like a few days for it to come back or a week or whatever, and then you can respond, and they don't get it for a few days. You can really sit.
This is how beautiful love stories were created in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
1950s. Like, this is why we have the Notebook.
Well, you have to mean what you say too.
Yeah,
It's very,
exactly.
So getting to know my parents and communicating like that was something that we had never done.
Yeah.
We had never really communicated in person, other than screaming matches
Right.
or talk past each other.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I've only started thinking about that recently, but I think that had a lot to do with it.
Interesting. And it really goes to show that even as a young person, maybe you doubted that your family loved you, that your mom and dad loved
Yeah.
you, and now they stuck beside you
Yeah.
in this situation. It's like, oh, these people love me.
Yeah.
So
I never thought about
much.
it like that.
Yeah.
I definitely think they didn't love me. I for
Right.
sure thought that. They tell me, my mom would tell me that.
Yeah. Well, because
My mom would say that.
you
to
say
me.
the most fucked up things to the people you love the most.
Of
Like,
course, yeah,
you know,
absolutely, yeah, because you
it's-
care.
Exactly.
They can draw that kind of
Yes.
emotion.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they didn't give a
Absolutely.
fuck.
Did you have a job in jail?
I eventually became a trustee. I got to sweep the stairs, and sometimes I would turn on the showers and pass out the food.
Nice.
But the stairs were my main duty.
Because you were passing out food, did you get extra food?
Yeah,
Was that awesome?
Yeah, in jail I was yoked.
I bet.
In jail I was in amazing shape because it's like I'm just an addict.
Right.
So if I have somewhere to, it's not hard to get fat in jail, but I just need something to do with my hands.
You were doing push-ups.
I worked out. I worked my ass off out in jail. I came out fucking yoked, dude, ripped. People were literally asking me how to get like in shape.
Damn.
'Cause I just got obsessed. I was
Yeah.
just reading Men's Health and like
Right.
making workout routines, and I found like a couple guys that wanted to do that, and it was just easy.
Wow.
But eating a whole pizza is good. I might do that after I leave.
I got some
Is this
places.
am I supposed to fix this, or is this?
I think if it's
I like.
no, I
eating.
don't think you need to fix it because
How do you feel about your relationship with food and?
well, I'm in therapy for it.
Really, for that specifically?
Well, no, not for that specifically, but it's all I ever talk about. It's all I
Interesting.
ever talk about in therapy. And as of recently, I've been talking about it more and more, where my therapist actually recommended that I go to like these, I should zoom in and listen to these like eating disorder recovery meetings. So it's kind of like, it's like AA for eating, like binge eating.
Yeah, yeah.
And not even binge eating, like restrictive too. But it's not a Weight Watchers meeting. It's like, through like a recovery group. So she wants me to start doing that. And I'm like, maybe if it'll help. I don't know. I hate my relationship with food. I have a very, very tumultuous relationship with it where I do the binge and restrict thing.
Yeah.
But I also used to be bulimic, and I don't see myself going back to that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's too much.
It's too much.
I'm an adult now.
I know.
It's like I don't have time to throw up.
I know. Also, like, I have to pay for my dental now.
Yeah,
You know,
you're worried about.
I can't.
Yeah.
I already had to have 2 root canals, and I know it was because of my, sordid past.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
like
Yeah,
I
I
don't
never
want
had.
to. I'm actually reading Jeanette McCurdy's book right now, and she talks about being bulimic, and
Yeah.
from iCarly, and she.
Her like mom used to weigh her. They used to weigh
It was
like
fucked
all
up.
kinds of shit.
Oh
right?
yeah, her mom is such a freak. God
Yeah.
rest her soul. But yeah, she's dead.
Yeah. Well, fuck her then.
Well, the book is called "I'm Glad My Mom Died."
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Fuck
Yeah,
off.
no, she was pretty. She weaponized
Her way.
love
Oh yeah, yeah.
to have
Stage
Jeanette
parent, yeah.
do whatever she wanted her to do, and like she relates this one story of her mom was basically on her deathbed in a coma, and her and her brothers were like trying to like give her a piece of good news, so like maybe it'll wake her up. And she recounts like her one brother being like, I'm getting married, I'm moving back to wherever, and then she goes, I know what's gonna get her up. And she goes, Mom, I'm finally 89 pounds. And she's like, when she didn't stir and wake up to the fact that I was telling her I was back down to 89 pounds, I knew she was gone, because
Wow.
that would be the thing that would get her back, And so Jeanette has this story where she was making herself throw up so much on a flight. She was sitting in first class, so like everything was free.
Mm-hmm.
So like she just would take everything that the flight attendant would give her. She would eat it, and she'd immediately go into the bathroom and throw up. And then her tooth fell out as she was doing that.
Wow.
So, yeah, you can't fuck around. You gotta be, it's just like that's like young people shit. Like when I was a teenager, I had the body to be fucking around
you don't
and
even
doing
think about that. Well, you also don't think like, I mean, I don't know how depressed you were in those times, but like I'd never thought I'd live to 30. I never even thought. I just didn't think about it.
I didn't think about my future.
I thought I was gonna kill myself for sure, and I tried, but it didn't work out. But I thought you don't think about your future at all.
Right.
And now, but there is a lot of laziness too. Like I'm just not. That's a lot of effort.
Right.
My roommate's gonna hear me throw up.
I know.
Like
if I
lived alone.
If I lived alone, it'd be different.
Yeah, maybe I'd be a little bit.
But that's also a trigger. That could be a trigger, living alone.
That's what I mean.
Do it. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, living alone would be. I like the idea, but I'd be so self-destructive if I lived alone.
I loved my time living alone. I really did, but it was probably one of the most self-destructive times in my life. Yeah.
There's nothing to be whatever for. Yeah. Isolation is just.
That's why I got a dog. I got Finny back in 2017, and I was living here in this apartment, but I had a roommate. So like this was all configured differently. Like that room over there was my bedroom. But so I had a roommate, and then she left for 3 months to go travel. So I was living here alone, and I was 24, and so depressed and so lonely, and just couldn't help myself. I was it was so bad. And my friend was like just messing around on Craigslist and was like, you should get a dog. I found this dog on Craigslist. Let's go check it out. And I got Finny, and I was like, oh my God, this dog. I really needed this.
Yeah,
I could really use these walks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to I said that. Me and my girlfriend are moving in together. And a lot of that's because it's just like, not only do I want a place where we can have our home and like just be around each other so we don't have to do the comedy stuff that we talked about earlier and just have the actual time together, but we want to get cats, and I suggested maybe getting a tiny dog because I want a really little
tiny dog. Yes.
And that's the first thing she said. She was like, "Yeah, it'd be good for you to like get out of the house, make you get out of the house." And I was like, "Fuck
Literally.
you."
Yep.
Yeah, she's right though.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't realize how much I needed it, because I would get out of the house and I would walk around because I was new to the neighborhood, so like I wanted to see what was up, But I would feel so sorry for myself. I was so sad.
Yeah.
I was so sad.
Also, you have a responsibility to take care of this thing, and it makes you be reliable because you have to be.
For him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
it's exactly like having a kid.
I did not say
just as hard.
I did not say it. So okay, so you quickly have this unhealthy, we'll call it, relationship with food as a young kid. You really like the dopamine, and you said your parents give you shit for it. Did your parents diet a lot? Like, what was their story?
My mom, my stepmom, the one that raised me anyway, she was like a gymnast in high school, which I found out later. I never really related it, but she was always kind of a fat lady.
Oh, really? But she was a gymnast?
Not super fat, but like like mom fat.
Yeah,
You know what I
mom
mean?
fat,
Like
totally.
bigger, like, you know. And but she was a gym. I think she really resented that. I think she was thinner when she got me, and so I think maybe I was caught up in that.
Right.
I distinctly she made fun of my weight all the time. She called me fat because I ate a bunch. They
Right.
restricted my milk. I have a joke about eating milk and sausage, and that's like for real. My mom would buy me smoked sausage, and my dad and they would ration my milk because I would drink a gallon of milk in like 2 days.
Yeah.
They would get so fucking mad. Like, and I was eating so unhealthy at one point that my doctor would have to. They made us buy a blood pressure machine.
Really?
And I had to write down my blood pressure like a couple times a week.
Wow. And
Yeah.
you're like 11?
Probably like middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom like would give me digs. She'd call me fat. I remember one time I came home from football practice and she called me fat and I said, "Look who's talking." And she threw me out of the house.
I mean,
I know.
You're gonna dish it. You gotta be able to
I
take
know
it.
it wasn't good, but she
Live
was
by
like,
the sword, die by the sword.
she literally was like, "Get the fuck out of the house."
Yeah.
But I was a kid. I was like a child.
Yeah.
So it was really it was not good.
Right.
But they gave me a lot of shit for it, and that just my whole thing was eating again. And then she knew I was throwing up because she would tell me, she'd be like, "I cleaned up a throw up again," but she was not the type to address
Right.
because she knew.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like, does she have the bandwidth to like try to meet me halfway? Like, probably not.
I go back to that all the time where I'm like, I can't. My own life is all over the place and messy, and I'm not taking care of children. I'm not holding down multiple jobs. Well, I guess kind of I am, but like, you know, it's just a completely different thing, and it's like my mom didn't have the bandwidth or the time for anybody to have anything going on that was outside of like, you know, going to work, going to school, going to softball practice. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Totally.
Yeah, she's dropping off my brother and my sister and
running around.
worried about bills and fucking exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever.
Totally.
At the time, I fucking hated her.
I know.
And I made her life hell too. So it's like,
yeah,
you know, we whatever. But
you guys definitely, you know, went back and forth with that 100%. So does she doesn't care about how you eat now? Like if you go home for Christmas and like.
No, she'll always say I'm thinner than I'm because she's used to me being a little chubbier.
Thinner as in like, oh, you look so good, or oh.
She doesn't really comment on it.
Okay.
She gives my sister shit.
Well, that's the plight of being a female.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when we talked about it, I was like, I'm wondering what your experience was because I did it as a guy and like I would do things like I would go to school. I remember I would go to high school and I would tape my nipples. I put pieces of tape over my nipples.
So they wouldn't show?
Yeah, so you couldn't tell I was fat. They're just like pecs. They look smooth. And I remember one time literally being in the vice principal's office, and he was like a guy they hired to coach wrestling, but he happened to be the vice principal also.
Right.
You know how they do that?
Totally.
And he would be like, "How many push-ups do you do every morning?" And I was like, "I'm going to have tape on my nipples, dude. I'm not like a workout guy." And I did work out because I took that class, but it wasn't.
Right.
But so I was very, I don't know, I dealt with it in like a guy way, but you kind of get away with it.
Right.
You're like a bigger guy, people think you're strong.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, you know, I never really had a problem with ladies. That was never
Right.
like, I was very, very self-conscious. Still am. Still hate my body. So, but it was never like an issue.
Right.
Like reasonably, I never had a problem. But for a woman, I imagine it's much more harsh.
Way harsher. And my brother, you know, it's like I got the fat gene, he got the skinny gene. Like he's so skinny.
Just one sibling.
No, I have older brother and younger brother, and like,
Okay,
but
no
like
sisters.
Frank and I, my older brother and I are 2 years apart, whereas like my younger brother is 6 years younger than me. So it's a little bit different. It's a completely different dynamic. And so for my older brother, it just was, I just have memories, so many memories of it being like, you know, my mom wanting Frank to gain weight and me lose weight.
Yeah.
You know.
Was your mother the same way your grandmother was about food and weight and stuff?
No, because they're not like that's my grandmother is my dad's mom.
Yeah.
But like my mom and her are very close.
Yeah.
And
your dad just doesn't. He didn't. It's his mom, so she.
it's
like,
exactly.
Yeah, it's not the
And
same
like
at
my
all.
dad, like I've
didn't give a
only
fuck.
ever remembered my parents as fat.
Okay.
Only ever.
Yeah.
Now they're skinny.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
medical intervention.
Oh, Ozempic.
Yeah. I mean, my dad is diabetic. But
Good for him.
And my mom is just,
Congrats.
trying to my mom deserves it. It's fine. But
There's a certain age people get to, you're like,
live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life. They don't drink. They
Ozempic's
don't.
not bad if you're gonna be shooting up something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I've only ever known them as being fat, and I forgot what we were talking about.
I asked if your dad was that way.
No, he
Well,
wasn't.
if your mom was that way,
I
it didn't
do
download.
remember some. Well, here's the thing. I remember being young, like a young, like way too early to be having this conversation, where my dad sat me down and said, we were just gonna eat healthier around the house, like, your grandmother is worried about you and wants to make sure that I was like 5. I was really young, and he's like telling me, having this conversation with me, but he only did that because my grandmother was like, you have to talk to Kelly.
Were you a bigger kid at that age?
No.
That's a wild thing to just like download
I
onto
know.
somebody.
And because in my head I was,
Yeah, of course.
but I look back and I really wasn't.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, I was just watching this Oprah special, and because of course Oprah's on Ozempic, but she was a spokesperson for Weight Watchers.
Didn't she say that too? Wasn't
Yes.
she like?
So this was like her
Yeah.
This was.
She was like, if you see me thin, then I'm on something. I think she said that.
Yes, when
Are
I
you
did
the-
Denise podcast.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oprah had said
I
that.
was literally probably listening to that.
Yeah. Because you were there. Oprah said, if there's ever going to be a weight loss pill, you'll know that it exists because I'll be on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah,
we were
yeah.
talking about how hydroxycut and all these diet
My
pills.
mom
were,
took hydroxycut.
Oh, of course, she's a woman of the 90s. Of course,
Yeah.
she's going to take hydroxycut. Yeah, I think those funky diet pills is what gave my grandmother that we've been speaking about a heart attack a few decades ago.
Probably.
They're fucked up. But anyway, so Oprah was talking about she did this special on ABC, and all it was her talking about Ozempic because she had gotten into some hot water because she was a Weight Watchers spokesperson, and you can't be the spokesperson of a diet company while being on Ozempic.
Yeah.
That's a conflict of interest.
Can't
And
get
so
caught
this
doing that.
yeah. So she copped to it. And so this was kind of her not apology special, but reframing, right?
Yeah.
And one of the kids on there, it was so funny, I was just talking about this with my therapist. One of the people that they featured was this 12-year-old, or maybe she's 16 now, but she's 16, and by the time she was 11, she was almost 300 pounds.
Dude.
11 years
Okay.
old, 300 pounds. And I'm sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, I wasn't that, but I
Yeah.
was treated like I had high blood pressure and was pre-diabetic. It's no, I had a bedwetting problem, and of course my weight was blamed for that, which is insane.
Really?
I went to the pediatrician, and my mom was like, I don't know, I think maybe is she having extra weight pushed on her bladder? And the pediatrician acknowledged it as it could have been a legitimate thing. And it's
Just
yes,
a lazy pediatrician.
people.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Well, people
That'll
are
be $500.
exactly people that are morbidly, I can never say that word
Morbidly.
right. Morbidly
Morbid.
obese. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
issues with incontinence because their weight is pushing down their bladder. Not a 12-year-old that is maybe 12 pounds overweight.
That's crazy that it was so
I've
just
never
prevalent, just acknowledged in your head. You got
Never-
that beaten into you from the outside.
never not thought about my weight. Never, not once.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think I spent most of my life sucking my gut in 100%.
Oh,
literally 100% of the time.
100% of the time.
It's crazy. You'll tell people that, and they're like, "What do you mean?" And I go, "I don't exhale. That's
No.
not a thing you do."
No, 100%. And then,
Yeah.
you're on your iPhone the whole time scrolling, and I see a thing on TikTok that's if your stomach looks like this, it's because you've damaged the muscles here from sucking in your whole life. I'm
I've never
my
seen
stomach is-
that.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
No, I don't need that. Send it to me. Because there's no way that I don't. No, that's not good.
I mean, it is what it is. It's all cosmetic.
I can't imagine how many people are fucked up though from that.
So many.
Because I don't know. I never had the pleasure of being. I've been thin a few times in my life, like I said, and it's been like it was like I felt like Jesus.
I felt like a god.
Yeah, doesn't it feel so good?
Oh, the best. But when I look back at the times that I was really thin and people were always complimenting me, I was doing it in an unhealthy way. 100% of the time.
None of the times it came from a place of like, oh, I just happened to be thin because I was taking care of myself.
Never once.
It was like, oh, I obsessed about this and got there, but it's all I think about.
Right.
And it was just like,
or I was on some diet pill or something, you know, like, not that diet pills work. They don't work. But, you know, I was taking speed so that I wasn't eating, you know, like.
I've never done the diet pills.
I've done diet pills. Yeah. I've done diet pills.
They worked?
I was on this one that worked when I was in my early 20s, but it also could have just been a factor of being in my early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, the way you consume and the way it affects your body is just different when you're younger.
But also when you take a pill like that too, you start like restricting yourself and like doing other things.
Oh yeah, it just made you anorexic
really
basically.
Yeah, exactly. You really want it to work.
Of course, yeah, because you're going through this measure of like, but like there was this one pill I was on where like if I had skipped a day, the headaches I would get, it was like someone was beating me over the head with a hammer, and you could be like have a seizure. Seizure.
Well, most of those pills that were like fucking like meth, vitamin B, like just stuff that would speed up your metabolism. Yeah. Like raise your heart rate and stuff.
Yeah. Make you just feel too sick to function. Did your parents ever, because this was a big thing that my grandma did, she would make a beautiful meal and then would eat the lean cuisine version of that meal at the table. So like we would all have the linguine and clam sauce.
Oh, that's funny.
And she was eating, you know, lean cuisine fettuccine.
Yeah, my mom went through a few phases.
Yeah.
She went through like a slim fast phase.
Oh hell yeah.
Where those were around the house. Man, I forgot about this. Yeah, slim fast phase. She was like a lean cuisine.
Yeah.
She would order these. There's a I'm gonna do it when I get home. And they're not gonna have them though, but there's a veggie sausage, morning sausage, morning links. That she would buy, and I would always eat them because I like the way they taste. And she would get furious.
Morningstar is good. I like Morningstar.
But she, we had some lean cuisines. She did that whole round. None of it ever worked.
None of it worked.
Because it's just like, she just wouldn't drink enough water and like eat a bunch of candy and like, never drank enough water, ever. But just eat a bunch of candy. And she had a couple of kids and she's stressed out all the time and like, probably not sleeping enough. Like there's all these other factors. Mm-hmm. But she tried the fad stuff for a while. I remember the lean cuisines. She would get like, because that's what you do. You go to the store, you get like 5 of them.
Oh yeah, there'd always be a coupon. Yeah, there'd be a coupon where you can get like 5 for 10.
Yeah,
so
and
you'd
it was
have
just
to
like,
get a bunch.
Oh, those are the dinners. And it's like you're gonna eat more than that.
Of course, are you kidding?
It's no food.
It's no food.
Yeah, and it's not real.
And it also tastes like plastic.
It is plastic.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's not going to sustain you. And then what ends up happening, and this is what I'm trying to figure out in my own life, in my relationship with food, is like doing that whole trying to restrict myself by having the lean cuisine, and then that leading to like, well, now I'm having a sleeve of cookies, or whatever the destructive behavior is. Because that's the other part of it, is that like it's not just about eating the food. It's not just about like having something going into my stomach. It's like the way I feel when I'm maybe running out to the bodega to get it. Yeah. Or I feel like I'm picking up a bag or something. But that's what,
that's what they say about drugs.
Exactly.
Is that like getting it is the most of it.
And like for gamblers, it's the losing of the money that's so high, because you might be able to get it back, or like.
I love picking out food on DoorDash.
Oh yeah.
I'm still very bad with food.
Sometimes horrible. What I do is I shop on. It's like when you shop online and you fill your cart and then like you just close out the tab and you're like, I'm not buying any of that stuff.
Oh, I
do that on DoorDash.
I do that all the time.
100%.
I'll go through like 4 restaurants.
Yeah. Just
and then I end up back. I make my whole order on each one. Then I go, nah, I can't commit to that.
Yep.
This is my little treat. I can't fuck it up.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's so bad. I'll order like, I'm trying to think of like egregious things I've ordered. Literally the other day I ordered like $40 worth of McDonald's. That's like normal.
What's your McDonald's order?
Always 20 nuggets. Mm-hmm. Always a McChicken.
Mm-hmm.
And then it varies. Sometimes fries, sometimes another sandwich, sometimes.
Okay, my non-negotiable is a McFlurry.
No, I can't go. I can't.
I love McDonald's ice cream.
It's. I love it. I won't make it on a DoorDash. It's not going to be good. It'll annoy me.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
I'll go to a bodega and get a pint.
That's true.
That's my move.
True. It's true.
I get 2 pints from a bodega normally.
In one sitting.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. See, it would be nice to be a boy because I couldn't. If I was gonna purge, I could do that.
Why? Women can't. It's just too much.
It's just too much. Like two pints is a lot. I'm not trying to shame you, but
I don't. Yeah, I have a weird thing of like if I do eat healthy, I can lose a lot of weight very fast. But I eat crap.
Yeah.
I don't eat healthy like even a little bit. But all the times I've lost weight, it's been because I've just like been like, oh, maybe don't eat. I'll go to the grocery store on the way home and get like 2 of those like giant black and white cookies.
Oh yeah, they're
and
so good.
I'll eat like 1.5 before I even get home, like 2 blocks later. It's not good. I love a big sweet boy.
Yeah. Well, why?
This is just making me hungry.
I know. I don't understand what business black and white cookies have being so damn good.
Black and white cookies are delicious.
They're so good.
They're the best.
They're my favorite cookie.
Yeah, they're amazing. That chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I love chocolate. I don't like regular candy. It's disgusting.
Really?
No.
See, here's the thing. When people ask if you're a sweet or a savory person, my answer is both. But probably sweets. But like both.
Yeah, but not like gummy
Together.
candy. No,
gummy candy. I love gummy
disgusting.
candy.
No,
what?
It's gross.
What do you mean?
Disgusting.
Why is it disgusting?
It's all like fake fruit.
I don't even
Fruit
consider
has
it
sugar
fruit.
in it.
I know.
You could just have the fruit.
But okay, here's what I was
If
going to say.
I want chocolate, I want something that doesn't
Right.
exist. It's like when people get a Slurpee and they get like a cherry or a blueberry. It's like that's not real. Get a Coke.
I
It's
hear
also
you.
fake.
I hear
Get
what
the
you're
syrup.
saying.
Get the syrup. Get
You
it
don't
as
understand.
bad.
You don't understand fruit flavored things that are not actually fruit.
I'll go get the fruit,
Right.
which I won't eat.
right.
I don't want to eat the fruit. I don't want to eat things that are fruit flavored. I'm not tricking myself into thinking this is blueberry.
Well, here's the thing.
I want something someone made in a lab.
Part of what I was talking about of like, the ritual of the food, it's also the mouthfeel. And gummy candies have such a good mouthfeel.
I can't argue with that.
Like a stale gummy bear, that just like getting all in your
When I was a
teeth.
kid, I used to chew up my food and then eat it again. Did you ever do that?
No.
I know that not like baby bird, not like fully, but I would like chew a piece of.
I would chew and spit it out.
No. Well, yeah, of course. That's of course. What? Candy just to get like the
food in general, just chew it and then spit it.
Hmm.
And that way, you're eating, but like you're not eating.
Yeah. Do you like to? No, you need. It's like pizza. I like milk with stuff. I like you eat it and you drink it and then you eat it and then you take a sip.
Yeah, apparently that's a trashy thing to do, is to drink milk with dinner.
Yeah, I'm trash.
yeah.
Yeah, that's. I don't
But
care.
my friend is Israeli, and when she first met me, she was like, "I knew you came from people that drank milk with their dinner."
Yeah, why is that trash? Because it's like thick.
Because
It's not good for you.
disgusting.
No, it's delicious.
But
Milk
I
with
love
anything.
an ice cold glass of milk and an Entenmann's.
Yeah.
Urgh,
Yeah.
so good.
Or sauce.
Sauce.
I like sauces.
Oh, I love sauces.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
most of my diet is sauces.
Yeah. My body is made up of sauces.
It's mostly sauces is what I eat.
Mostly sauces.
Yeah. I've been trying to write a joke with that ends in that punchline. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
But I just like saying mostly sauces.
That is a funny phrase. Mostly sauces. Yeah. Yeah. What's a day
just
in
about
your
my
life
diet
like?
or like
Yeah.
well, yeah, mostly sauce. Just
Yeah.
something about that's what I could describe my diet as.
Mostly sauces. I like that. Okay. We're coming down at we're definitely over an hour now. I'm trying to think if I have any other questions for you.
Whatever you want. This has been very fun. I never talk about this with anybody, so
Don't you love talking about it? It's my favorite.
it's kinda I don't know, it's making me hungry. I'm gonna go order a whole I haven't eaten anything today, so I'm gonna eat a pizza for sure. I'm gonna eat something terrible for
Do
me.
you feel bad after you've eaten a whole pizza?
I used to care more. I feel like you mean like physically? Yes.
Like emotionally?
Like literally, yes. I wish I cared more. I wish I cared enough not to do it. I don't really. I used to give a fuck more, and the more that everything is like working out, like I just don't. For what? not dating right now. I have a
Right.
lady who
Mhm.
doesn't seem to care. She probably cares a lot secretly, which is how you do it.
Right.
So if unless she starts to vocalize it, I mean, I do want to get in better shape, but I don't.
You
At
also
the
have
moment,
a
I don't
very
care.
skewed perception of how you look because you look fine.
That be
You
yeah,
know.
you look fine.
I
We all
know.
look
I know.
fine.
Everybody looks fine.
So that's but that's not true. So
Exactly.
it's
It's
like
not true at all. Right.
yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess sometimes it just depends on my general mood. Like if things aren't going well in life, then yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'll use that as a reason to be upset.
Fully. The emotional aspect of it is huge for me.
Yeah, my eating's usually not about it's never about being hungry or full.
Right.
It's all emotional stuff.
Right.
And now it's like a little treat. It's a binge.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go home and eat a pizza.
Yeah,
And
especially.
I feel like it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And I combine it with like food. I'll like watch something or edit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all these different dopamines that I'll just do. But at the moment, no, I have a good relationship. At least I don't beat myself up.
Good.
I make the decision, then I go, I don't care.
Right.
And I don't really feel bad about it.
That's good.
Yeah. I
Good.
go, if you want to do something about it, drink some water, work out. Or
Yeah.
shut the
Oh
fuck
my God,
up.
the amount of water I drink to like mentally counteract.
It works. It counts. You're flushing it all out. That's exactly how it works.
People comment about my, they ask if I've gotten Botox and I haven't, and I really attribute it to SPF and drinking water.
Yeah.
I really do.
Do you do 90 different lotions?
No, I do I have like a base. I have a serum, I have a moisturizer, and I have an SPF, and that's what I do. And I try to get facials as much as possible.
All the girls that I know that have like nice skin all like don't do almost anything, and all the ones I know that do a bunch of stuff to their skin look like shit.
I've gone through phases, but
Yeah.
I think it's all
Yeah, they're trying to sell you stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's also kind of like, how like with chapstick, if you start using chapstick, like you're going to always need chapstick. That's how I feel about
Is that
most
true?
skincare. Yeah, like your body becomes like addicted to chapstick or to Flonase.
Or just put on chapstick. I've been addicted to Afrin.
Well, yeah, as a person that enjoyed white powder, of course you're going to be
Oh.
addicted to that.
I've been addicted to Afrin like after that.
Yeah.
So bad that when I moved to New York one time, I was using it so often that
Did you have to go on steroids to get off?
I had to go on I had to go on Flonase. I had to go on the steroid one to get off the over the counter one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't do anything. I was literally like pouring
It was
out of my
always,
nose.
yeah.
It was bad.
Always.
I didn't think it would be real.
Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
it's
whatever,
real.
dude. I have the sniffles. Big deal. I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, so that's how I attribute it, a lot of stuff that when you do a million things to your skin, it's like, well, maybe this pimple is because I'm constantly doing something to my face. I just gotta let the sleeping dog lie. Exactly. So, oh man,
Do you beat
anything
yourself
else?
up?
What? Sorry.
About food? Do you beat yourself up?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Yep. Never not. And it sucks because it's like if I'm hungry, I want to eat. But then I'm also thinking if I eat now, I'm not going to be able to eat later.
Yeah.
And eating later is what I want to do because I also like eating at night. I'm such I'm a deviant.
Yeah, in the dark at night, nobody needs anything from you. My night is my favorite.
Night is my favorite.
I love it because I don't think no one's mad at me.
Nope.
No one's thinking about me.
I know everything's cool. Everyone's asleep, and I'm just up here you know. And Joe and I are complete opposite. Like Joe will
a morning boy.
He's a morning boy, and I'm a night lady, and it works because we're both such heavy sleepers that we never wake each other up.
Yeah.
He'll be up playing video games at 7 a.m. and I'm
Well, that's the opposite.
fighting for my life to try to get up for work in time,
Yeah.
Thank God I work from home. Oh, I could not go into the office. I would be late constantly. Pre-pandemic, I was always late to work. Always.
Yeah.
Never
You're just
once
not a
on
morning
time.
person.
I'm not a morning person. Not at all.
Comedy.
Exactly. I love being up late.
I just love that knowing nothing's
Everything's chill.
During
Everything's
the morning,
chill.
I'm anxious.
At night
it's
shootings
like,
happen during the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus, there's kids outside. That's gross.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can hear
It's just,
kids laughing. I have a park about my window. I hear kids laughing when I wake up. Disgusting.
oh my God, I don't want
want
to
to hear that.
I don't want to give away where I live, obviously, but there is a school nearby, and I promise you, like clockwork, at 2:30, 3 o'clock, every day I spring out of my chair and I run to the window here to make sure no one's getting murdered, because every fucking day it's just the kids from the school
To
getting
watch
out
all-
and being like, ah! And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
You run to the window to watch all the hot kids.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh, it's terrifying. These children are terrifying. I feel like such a loser when I forget what time it is, and all of a sudden I'm walking around in like a sea of kids, and
Oh
I'm just
my
like,
God.
please don't perceive me. Please don't
Yeah,
perceive me.
that's hilarious. That is very funny. Because a lot of the times I'll get stuck like doing pods or something in the middle of the day, and I'm like, end up on the train
Yes.
next to a school,
Uh-huh.
and it's like the most self-conscious I ever feel. I'm like, oh man, these are the cool kids.
I'm
Clearly,
like fixing my shirt.
yeah, I hate it. I hate man. That's like the most mad I get.
Yeah,
Is
it's
when
so
I'm
scary.
stuck like
Yep.
near a bunch of kids. I'm like, I'll fucking start elbowing all of you, but they're all just like unconcerned with life.
Oh, so taking
I'm
up
like,
so much space.
And they're so happy. I don't like it. I know they're miserable, but
I
they
know
seem
they
happy.
probably all have like shitty home lives,
No, they're all anxious, and they're
Yeah.
way worse than we are. 'Cause
Way
they,
worse.
They live on the internet.
But they also have they do live on the internet, but they, I feel like, have the confidence to be like, to say something silly or goofy at us.
That's so funny that like literally that's our job.
I
to
know.
comedy. But I can't do it like in a social setting. I can't to a stranger.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not to a 13-year-old who's going through puberty and acting erratically,
Yeah.
and whose frontal lobes have not been formed yet. Like,
They might
it's
say
just
something mean and honest to me, and I won't be able to handle it.
disgustingly honest. That I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm gonna take my stupid gay ass dog and get out.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. My dog is gay.
you've nailed me.
I've had a few moments with like strangers on the because I generally walk around like that. That's why I started wearing glasses.
Really?
If I could wear sunglasses, I told Sarah asked me like what my goal was in comedy, and I was like, if I can get to the point where I can wear like tinted sunglasses
And no one
100%
think
of the
you're lame.
time, and nobody brings it up, I'd be very happy. That way, I never had to make like real eye contact with anybody.
Yeah.
That would make me so happy. But I've had a few instances with strangers in New York where we laugh at somebody else, and that's been a good time. Where like something will happen, and then a guy will laugh, and then I'll laugh,
Yeah,
and
like
then
when
me
you
and them
both
are
catch
laughing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. The other
Yeah.
day I was leaving Gotham, and there was a guy like kicking. I don't know if he was homeless, clearly homeless, or just like one of the guys who just doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kicking a soccer ball up against a brick wall, and this like business guy walked by, and he clearly kicked it at him because he was bored or something. The guy was like, "Hey, you better watch what you're doing with that thing." Like he wasn't gonna do anything.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then me and the guy just looked at each other and started laughing. And the other guy just had to stand there. It was great. He was like, "What's this relevant?" I go, "I don't know."
You guys were the teenagers in that situation, in that scenario.
And he was being he was being serious, man. It was great.
I'm serious business corporate man.
Yeah, New York's good for that.
Yeah, the camaraderie.
Yeah, but generally, I don't want to get called fat. Yeah, by kids for sure.
Terrifying. I remember my grandma always saying, kids are cruel. Kids are cruel. And she nailed it. They are.
Yeah.
Kids are so fucking cruel.
So are old people.
I'll never forget. Oh, yeah. I'll never forget being must have been just before middle school, 4th or 5th grade. And I was sitting on the bus, and I was always self-conscious about my legs. Always, always, always. And I had my leg against the seat. It was the summer, so I had shorts on. And I'll never forget Jamal.
Oh,
He
I have
said-
my friend. Yeah, I know
He
Jamal.
looked at me, and he goes, "Damn, Kelly, you have fat-ass legs." Ruined me.
You think about that all the time.
Every day. Every day. I always think about it. I always think, damn, Kelly, you have fat ass legs. And I feel bad because I totally probably snitched on him and like got him in trouble. Like I probably had no chill about it because I didn't know how to handle that kind of thing.
Well, you're gonna tell on a Jamal.
it
You don't have to laugh at that. It's okay.
and I just felt, I look back and it's like, he probably wasn't even really trying to be mean. He just had an
No.
observation.
You're a kid.
Exactly.
You're impulsive. You just say. You just say and do things.
exactly. Exactly.
If I had to account for all the shit I did,
Oof.
I had a kid one time. I didn't know him. We were just like, when you leave school and all the buses are lined up and you find your bus. I had a kid who popped his head out one of the windows and was like, "Hey, Tubby," and I was just like, I don't even know this kid. Like, I didn't even know him.
Right.
I think about that all the time.
And
Like,
you know,
damn,
he's
dude.
a nameless, faceless person.
I had a girl I dated a Mexican girl one time, and she would grab my stomach. She thought it was cute.
Really? Oh.
Grab it and like kind of pull it a little bit.
Oh.
And I'd be like, "What do you?
That's assault.
Don't do that."
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah, but like, what do you like?" Then and I go, like, "What? Nobody likes that."
Nobody likes that. What if I
What do
did that to
mean,
you,
what do I like
bitch?
that? Yeah, she was thin. I couldn't. But I was like, "You fucking bitch." But there are
Yeah.
a lot of instances that just were ruined as a kid. Like, no, I was a shirt on at the beach guy. And I hate
Oh,
the
shirt
beach.
on at the pool.
Yeah,
Always.
we grew up with a pool, in my backyard. My parents had one. It was shitty, and then eventually they got the money. We did it. So we had one in our backyard, and I never went in it. My brother and sister would have friends over and stuff, and it was just like very rarely was I like.
I used to have like emotional breakdowns before going to a pool party.
Yeah.
And like last minute try not to go.
Oh man, yeah.
And then like the people in my life that gave me the weird body image stuff would be like, "You're crazy. Come on, we're going." It's like
no, what do you think?
Yeah, like I'm afraid to go to this pool party because, I've been made to feel that I look like shit my whole life, and now I got to go put it on display. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
I've
already started thinking about what flavor chicken wings I want.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely got to get some dinner. But this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on.
I really appreciate you having me on. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this is great. Of course. Where can people find you?
Scott Hall Stand Up on all the platforms. Check out Grove 34 too if you're ever in New York.
Big fans.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm actually going to open for May's comedy recording.
Oh, amazing.
At Grove. Yeah, I'm excited.
Hell yeah. That's next month.
Next month. Yes. Okay, guys, until next week. Bye.
Bye. Love you.